Hi everyone, so we will discuss calculated items and calculated fields sa pivot table. So this is a little bit more advanced than our basic pivot table application. So we already have an older version about pivot table basics. So check that out first before ito, if first time ninyo to handle pivot tables. Pero in this episode or in this lesson, we will discuss how to use calculated items and calculated fields. So, if you don't know me by now, ako si Coach Chubby. So, Abby talaga yung pangalan ko. So, Coach Abby, Coach Chubby, pinaghalo na lang natin. And this is our Excel and Excel series where I teach you kung ano yung mga tips tsaka tricks natin how to improve yung paggamit natin ng Excel and ma-maximize natin yung ways that it can help us sa work. Okay, so we have our file over here. I will show you. Sa sample file natin, meron tayong team. So we have 4 teams. We have employees, different error types, different statuses ng mga errors na yun, volume, and the date. So if we have some type of data like this, cool thing about pivot tables it can summarize yung data na to. And all we have to do is click insert table, pivot table. And then i-select natin yung range. So by default, if maayos naman, we have headers and the type of data, nasa-select siya. Or you can manually select your data. Now, for the sake of an example, lagyan lang natin siya sa same existing worksheet. Kasi by default, pag new worksheet, magka-create siya ng bagong tab. Nandun yung pivot table. Dito, i-select na lang natin to. Let's click yung H1 na cell para nandito siya sa right. And then we will build our pivot table. So, basic lang. We have the team, and then we have the volumes natin. I-sum ng volumes ng errors. And then we have yung type ng error under the team. And then we have the status ng error. For example, I have that. So sa team 1, we have clerical error. Meron siyang process error, system use, something like that. And then we have the status ng errors na ito. Sa pivot table, by the way, if you have it formatted like this, hindi siya naka-table form, the way to filter data is to click, kung saan mo siya huling kinlik, yun yung mag-a-appear na filter sa taas. So for example, ito, dito kasi natin siya nilagay sa status, no? So pag drop down natin filter, status yung mga choices. Kapag nilagay naman natin siya sa type of error, yun naman yung mag-a-appear din. And kung sa team naman, yun yung last natin kinlik, team yung lalabas sa filter. Okay, ganun siya. Pero in this case, since we're covering calculated items, what we want Excel to do or the pivot table to do is, kasi ang error natin kapag invalid siya, ibig sabihin hindi naman siya talaga error or under dispute or pinag-uusapan pa whether totoong error siya or hindi pa siya talagang error. So, if I want to present my data, dapat hindi siya naka-tag as error. Pero gusto ko na mas madali siyang matranslate or mas madali siyang makita nung gumagamit ng report, I can combine these dalawang data. Now, there are several ways to do it. You can actually go back to your raw data tapos i-replace mo lahat ng mga under dispute tsaka yung invalid, gawin mo siyang not an error. Or, if I want to preserve yung ating status, kasi nga, hindi ko itatamper yung raw data ko, I can just go to my pivot table at dito ko siya babaguhin. So, to be able to combine, I can go to calculations sa ating pivot table analyze tab, click fields, items, and sets, and I can just select calculated item. So what I will do is I will create another subset. Isang type of field na pag yun ang status, pwede kong gamitan ng formula. So nalagay ko, not an error. Ito yung pangalan ng ating field. Tapos sa formula, dito sa part ng formula, I will put yung data na kino-combine ko. So, for example, gusto ko invalid plus yung ating volume na under dispute. This will comprise yung volume ng not an error kasi hindi nga siya error. So, if I click OK, you can see here, nag-create siya ng bagong status, not an error. And this, 465, is actually the sum of invalid and under dispute. As you can see here, 193 plus 270 is equal to 465. So, meron na siyang combined na item na ganon. So, if I just remove or i-filter out natin yung original natin na invalid and under dispute, makikita natin meron na tayong valid error tsaka yung hindi error. Dalawa na lang. So, mas madali siyang makita. So, that is how you can use calculated item to simplify your pivot table. And again, yung raw data mo was not tampered at all. Okay? So, another key thing is calculated field naman instead of calculated item. So, we have our calculated field naman if we want yung values na mag-combine. Yung kanina kasi row yung kinombine niya. Dito naman, if we want a calculation on the values, we will use calculated field. To do that, create muna natin yung pivot table. So, insert muna tayo ng pivot table. And then, we have the themes. We have yung value ng volume. And then, your errors. So, if we have our simple pivot table here, meron tayong row, meron tayong volume and errors. Now, this is not very visual. Hindi ko ma-picture kung ano yung actual performance ng team kasi hindi pa siya percentage. So, mas maganda kung mapa-percentage natin yung presentation natin. So, you can actually add another column sa yung raw data, tapos calculate mo yung percentage, or straight from the pivot table, lagyan natin siya ng percentage. If all we need to do is see kung ano yung percentage niya out of the volumes, you can just go to your sum of values here and go to value field settings. You can show it as a percentage nung yung totals or percentage of your grand total. Ibig sabihin, out of the 100% ng volume, 21% to. Ganun siya. Pwedeng ganun. Pero hindi ito yung performance per team, di ba? Kasi ang performance natin should be sum of volume minus the errors over the total volume. So how do we do that without tampering or without updating our raw data? We can do that by doing this. You just go to pivot table analyze, go to your calculations and fields, items, and sets, calculated field. So calculated field, ibig sabihin, we will create a header. Ano ba yung tawag? So I will put percentage performance. Tapos dito sa formula bar, you can create your own equation. In our case, gusto ko yung total number ng volume minus yung volume ng errors. Lalagyan natin sa parentheses para ito yung first na i-calculate and then divide natin by the total number of volume, right? To get the percentage ng mga performance yan na hindi error. So if I click OK, you can see here meron na siyang percentage. So now that we have our percentage, gawin na lang natin tong gawin natin siya number format percentage para kita natin siya with the 2 decimal places like that. And you can see mas visually, mas na-imagine na natin yung performance ng team kasi naka-percentage na siya. Again, yung raw data natin, wala nagbago, wala tayong dinagdag, pero na-calculate na yung ating item. So yeah, so those are just several ways to improve how we present our data using the pivot table. I hope you learned something new sa ating discussion. Let me know sa comments kung may request kayo, may gusto kayong i-analyze natin or gusto natin cover na topics. If you want the full playlist, lalabas naman yung link dito sa screen natin. Click on that. If you appreciate the content, you can like the video, you can share kung gusto niyo, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell kung gusto niyo na ma-update kayo sa mga susunod pa natin videos. You can also follow us on Facebook, tsaka sa TikTok, where I post more videos on a daily basis. So, salamat sa pag-grow na ating community, and I hope we can all just try to be better versions of ourselves and be better today than we were yesterday, and excel together. See you and God bless.